Shop day. Kennan's been working in there. I've been working. Tried another rear main seal on the E60, another failure. I tapped it in too far, and using a center punch as a tap, I got a little too carried away on the first few taps, and it kinked again. So another one's on order. Maybe take 3 will be the charm. In the meantime, I replaced the selector rod shaft seal that goes around the selector rod on the transmission. I assembled all of the shifter linkage, and you can shift it now, which is kind of neat. And this is what's going to be used to pull the grommet through the hole, I think. That's the E60 545i shifter, which hopefully works well. My dad was here in the F10, kind of cleaned up all day. M3's going to sit there. We're going to use my car tonight. Kennan still hasn't driven his. We'll get to that soon. What else happened today? I don't know. Battery light's flashing. We'll talk in a bit. Kennan, what are you doing?
I'm reliving my youth and playing with Windows 95.
This is Windows 95 in a .dot app that runs inside of OS 10. The top 1/6 of the display is janky. But Kennan was born in what year?
I was born in 1995.
So this is an operating system. Did I just say that a minute ago? I don't remember that.
No, I said that I'm playing with something from radio. Now, that said, I did.
Wait. Move it down here so we can see this.
I'm attempting to do that.
Well, drag the mouse up there. It loads it when you drag the mouse up there.
Oh.
Kind of. Enough that you can see where the...
Looks like a horrible CRT display.
Yeah, it does. It only runs in 1024 by 768, and it's allocated 128 megabytes of system memory out of my 16 gigabytes. The processor, I have no idea. Just go up to the top and drag it. Click, drag. There you go. Yeah. Paint. You know what's funny though? I remember that tool set in Paint very well, because I think it looked about the same in XP as it does here. Wow. The Clouds wallpaper, when they were like 640 by 480 resolution, it thinks it's 6:04 a.m. I remember that little speaker icon, the old Windows flag in the start menu. Before they figured out how to do clear type and make text on a background, they had to put a color behind it. Wow. Good times. Now the Mac can run it with no more effort than it takes to run Safari or an instance of Finder. Well, it is getting warm, right? Like, it does actually use some processing power to run this.
Yeah, it does.
But it's just a throwback to look at that. So you worked today?
I did.
I worked today at the shop. I worked on the... I remember that sound. Worked on the E60 transmission. I replaced the transmission selector rod shaft seal. So as you shift gears, the selector rod that actually moves in and out of the transmission has a gasket or a seal around it. So we pulled that out and replaced it. I did film that. I did film with the shop a little bit. I tried to replace the rear main seal again on the E60, botched it for a second time. Third one will come in, I think, Friday. I'm much more confident now. I had tried using a piece of pipe and wood and a mallet before, and that just doesn't work. So this time I just used a hammer and went around 20 times to make one revolution, or one full circumference. I went around in a circle 20 times, 10 times. Does that make sense?
Like 20
no.
times, 10 times? So wait,
200 times.
200 times? Is that
Something like that. But then I ended up using a punch, not like a narrow punch that would punch a hole in it, but just something as wide as the seal to tap it in a little bit past the outer edge of the crankshaft, and I went in too far, and then it kinked. So we're going to get to that. We're going to fix it. We're going to replace it again is what we're going to do. And I'm confident in my third time that we'll get it in there. At which point we can install a flywheel. I got the flywheel locking tool, so we can get the flywheel installed. At that point, we can install the clutch disc and clutch pressure plate. The pilot bearing is already installed, and the throwout bearing is already installed. So at that point, we'll really be ready for a mechanical reassembly of the transmission. And yesterday we did the drain plug and the fill plug, and we got to put oil in it, but I want to do that when it's installed in the car at the right level. So we're making a bunch of progress. Wiring, and then the clutch pedal and interior electronics are going to be the next part. Kennan's been very gracious, or very helpful here. He said that he's going to do all the wiring and the coding and the programming for me.
Yeah.
You can figure it out.
Not really. It won't work, but sure.
It won't work, but yeah, plug it in.
Plug it in.
Wait, open the Windows 95 welcome. What is that?
Wow. Hi, I'm Felix.
Felix.
The maker behind Windows 95.
I thought that was Bill
you're
Gates.
having fun.
Well, there it is, guys. How do you even prepare for that? I will talk to you guys.
Wait, there's more.
What?
You drove my...
Oh, I did. I drove the M3 today.
Yes.
I've driven
What are
it
your
before.
thoughts?
When Jeff owned the M3, I drove it from Acme in Hudson to the house, which was the grocery store to the house. It was like 3 miles. It might be the hardest to drive car. The E46 330 was one of the hardest to drive cars I've ever driven. The M3, I won't say it's as bad. It just takes a lot of getting used
I don't
to.
think it's quite as hard as that.
It takes a lot of getting used to because if the clutch travel, I'm going to use this piece of paper as an example. So here is the clutch on the floor, and here is the clutch all the way out with your foot not on the clutch. The bite point is here. Here it's fully engaged, and this is all dead zone. So the clutch picks up within a millimeter, 2 millimeters of the floor. Whereas like an E39 M5, it'll start to pick up here, it'll be picked up by here. So you have this whole area of feathering. And the E36 M3 with whatever system is in that car is all here. The clutch is an on-off switch. There's no feathering. It's either engaged or disengaged. And then the throttle is a cable-driven throttle, so you have to like stand on the throttle to get it to move. So it totally throws you off guard. But I did drive it today a couple miles. It was a lot of fun. That thing sounds like a Cessna. When you're not driving across the country, it's way more fun. No, it's not crazy fast, but it's not slow either. It more than gets out of its own way. It's significantly faster than the 330 was.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot lighter.
Steering's great. The brakes are good.
I would argue in a way it's easier to shift because you don't have to worry about the 2 transfer cases.
Well, you get used to it. Yeah, well, yeah, the transfer
That
case
is
in the
the hardest
E46 sucked, and that's why that car was really hard to shift. If it were an a 330i, that would have been vastly superior.
Right.
So,
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
yeah, no, it was fun. I hope to drive it again someday. It was a good experience. I brought my car home today, and then of course, after driving the M3 2 miles, I get in and press the clutch through the firewall. Take like 5 minutes to learn how to drive it again. So, we brought my M5 back tonight. We'll film yours starting up hopefully tomorrow. It's gonna tick like a bitch. I
How
guarantee
much
it.
you want to bet it doesn't?
No, it's gonna tick. It
No,
ticked the last time I started it up.
I bet you it doesn't for me.
Okay, we're gonna find out
We'll
tomorrow.
find out.
All right, say goodnight.
Good night.